Welcome to the Process Podcast.
From new agent to broker owner.
My name is Travis McClure. This is my co-host, Preston Guyton. Welcome to the Process Podcast. This is Travis McClure, and I have a very special guest that I'm excited for today. Adele Gutman is joining me today. Adele has been honored as the top 25 extraordinary minds in sales and marketing and revenue by the Hospitality Sales and Marketing Association. She formerly was the vice president of the Library Hotel Collection and achieved the #1 highest guest satisfaction rating of any luxury hotel brand in the world. And this is based on somewhere around 2.7 million reviews. Had a overall 96.1 satisfaction rate. So Adele is a little bit of an authority on hospitality reputation marketing, and she's developed a 5-star review system that she's going to talk to us about today that's really could be applied in any industry that you're in where you work with the public. So Adele, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Travis, for having me here. Absolutely. I learned about how to inspire great reviews because I started with the Library Hotel Collection before it was even called the Library Hotel Collection in 2000, the same year that TripAdvisor was born. And I was just trying to make sure, because I had a responsibility for anything that impacts the revenue of the business for our properties. And I wanted to go online and make sure that what people were saying about us on different websites was up to date. And in doing so, I started noticing the reviews becoming a thing. And I wanted to make sure, well, that's really important content. People probably pay more attention what other people say about you than what you say about yourself. Mm-hmm. So I want to really make sure that everybody is saying great things about us. And by and large, our hotels were inspiring a lot of 5-star reviews. But some other hotels were inspiring those 5-star reviews more often and with less complaints. And when one day, one of our hotels, because we were focusing on making sure that every guest was happy, when one of our hotels made the top of TripAdvisor, boom, the phone was ringing off the hook. Everybody wanted to book with us, even though they had woken up this morning and never heard of those hotels. But they wanted to book because, hey, it's at the top of the list. Certainly guests really like it. And the things they're saying make me feel like I'll like it too. So I thought this is the winning marketing for me because it's free content. It's free advertising. And so many eyeballs are going to be attracted to our business because of reviews. So it's so important to your success financially. But at the same time, while we all collected our thoughts together, I called everybody into a room and I said, you know, you're the experts at making people happy. You already inspire a lot of 5-star reviews. You tell me, look at the positive reviews and tell me, how can we double up on that? Each of you have your own special magic, something you do that makes the faces of the guests light up. How can we document all those little tips that each of you has and share them among the entire team so that everybody is delivering that same quality consistently every day to every single guest? And at the same time, we said, let's look together at what the problems are that are the complaints that are holding people back from completely loving us. Maybe we got a 4-star review, which is not awful, but it's kind of neutral. It's just like, I don't love you. If I would love you, I would give you a 5-star review. I don't dislike you. I would have given you a 3-star review or 2 or 1. But 4 is just fine. What held them back from making it a 5-star review? Let's look at those things that made people unhappy and see if we can't completely fix the problem, a lot of times you can just mitigate the problem or diminish the impact of the problem by, changing something. A lot of times, you know what, Travis, a lot of times people don't realize you don't have to change your product. You just need to change the way you describe your product. Sometimes the way we describe your product leads to a expectation that we are not delivering on. We're just overselling it. Oh, I'll tell you a story if you have time. I just went to a restaurant this weekend with my parents in Charlotte, and actually in Matthews, which is a suburb of Charlotte. And we were so excited to try out a nice Italian restaurant that we have not tried before. And I opened up the menu and I saw eggplant parmesan. I'm vegetarian, and they had a lot of, most of the dishes had meat in it. I was so happy to have eggplant parmesan. It's one of my favorite things. And both my father and I ordered it. And then when we had it delivered to our table, it looked like a bowl of spaghetti with a few specks of eggplant. And I just said, I just want to make sure I ordered eggplant parmesan. Is this what I'm supposed to get? Yes. Yes, that is the way we serve eggplant parmesan. Do you want me to get a manager for you? Like, I was a little bit shocked, to be honest with you. I was just checking that I got the right thing. And instead of the waiter saying, oh, don't worry, that dish, we top the eggplant with the spaghetti. Underneath the eggplant, underneath the spaghetti, you're going to find plenty of eggplant. That's just the way we serve it here. But I think you're going to really enjoy it. Maybe he could have said something like that, but like, that's just the way we do it. Do you want me to get the manager? It just seemed the last thing I wanted to do. To be honest with you, we waited a really long time for the dishes. It was okay because we had ordered appetizers, but we waited a really long time. So I normally don't have a second glass of wine, but I did because I was already gone. And then the manager came. Well, that's the way we do it. We don't fry it, da 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 da. And but I'll get you something else. Well, he didn't realize that I didn't have a lot of something else to choose from. But even if I did, I didn't say I want to take it back. I just said I was surprised by it. And I said, no, I don't want you to take it back. I'm going to be happy to eat it. He said, no, I want you to have something that'll make you happy. Waiting any longer was not going to make me happy. It was too rough. That exchange was just too rough for me. I was just trying to say, I thought maybe you gave me the wrong thing because it wasn't what I expected. And instead of walking me through it, saying, oh, that is our eggplant parmesan, but there's a lot of yummy eggplant underneath the pasta. That's just the way we present it.
Yeah.
From the area of Italy that our chef is from. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in any kind of customer experience. Conflict only arises when expectations differ, right? Like the only reason there was conflict, there wasn't clear expectations on the front side, right?
So true, so true. So I just said, no. I just thought, perhaps consider taking another look at the way it's described on the menu and just adapting it so people know what to expect, or even putting a picture. Sometimes people do that. Probably not in a fancy Italian restaurant, but anyway, it's just a moment that went wrong, but the food was fantastic.
Right.
It's just sad that they responded in a way that they thought was being helpful by saying, I'll get you something else. I want you to be happy.
Right.
It was not loving me. It was not really walking me through it and helping me enjoy the rest of my meal. It was abrasive.
And think about it on the front side of that. Had they described the dish when you ordered it, hey, just so you know, when it comes out, this is where the eggplant will be underneath the spaghetti, right? Like you would have had that expectation when the meal came out. There would have been no problem at all. you know?
Exactly. And one of the reasons that it looked different than a lot of other restaurants' eggplant is that it wasn't fried.
Mm,
Now, if you say to me, the eggplant's not fried, I like it 10 times better.
right.
I really prefer it not fried. My favorite restaurant that serves that in New York has it also unfried. So you're right, exactly. Just describe it as a benefit,
Yeah.
and it because it really was, and it was
Yeah.
delicious.
I love what you do, and I love what you talk about around customer service, customer reviews. You use two terms, and I'd love to explain the difference of them. One is around reviews. One is reputation management versus reputation cultivation. And again, this is applicable if you're a realtor, if you own an Airbnb, own a VRBO, you work in the hotel hospitality industry at all. Talk to me about reputation management versus reputation cultivation.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say, it's hard to think what business it doesn't apply to.
Mhm.
Um, if you're a lawyer's office, a doctor's office, or a hospital, definitely the healthcare industry really needs a lot. But in retail, if you have a yoga studio, no matter what it is, if you are thinking about reputation cultivation, that means you're saying, this is what I dream I want people saying about me when they leave my store, my yoga class, my when they leave the doctor's office. I want them to feel cared for, appreciated, and respected. I
Mhm.
want them to say that they got the best of care, and that every single person who was they encountered was completely invested in my success and my comfort, and kindness and compassion are the backbone of that, as is honesty and integrity in everything that we do.
Mhm.
But compassion is so key. So when you know in advance um, what it is that you want people to say about you,
Yeah.
be that business that inspires those comments every minute of every day. Those comments will not come from you not engaging with your customer, or from um, simply having your marketing material completely focused on attracting a customer and closing them, but not if they leave happy. You have the importance of being in honesty and integrity when you are promoting your business or promoting a particular service or a dish, is to make sure that the expectations are there and that they're going to be completely happy, and that if that's not the right thing for them, they will choose something else,
Right.
something else on your menu. Be focused on that. So a lot of people talk about reputation management, that, oh, all of these places, you cannot control the reviews that your customers give you. And how am I going to control the conversation? Um, when I see a bad review, I'm just going to respond in some way that I think is polite and professional and be done with it.
Right.
Well, that brand of reputation management, which I can feel is 90% of the world believes that is going to help.
You're talking when you
That
get a bad review, right, Adele? Like when
if
you got a negative review of some sort.
if you have a negative review, respond in a polite and professional way. And that's reputation management. That's never going to lift your guest experience scores, or your patient experience scores, or your student or membership experience scores. It's never going to change. You will be managing forever and not really accomplishing anything. If you want to take your business from wherever it is to wherever you want it to go, you have to cultivate that experience for them by being what you want to be known for. And I didn't say that first. Socrates said it before, long time ago.
Yeah.
If you want a good reputation, endeavor to be what you want. I'm paraphrasing, of course, what you want people to say about you. So I talk about how to inspire 5-star reviews, how to help your team and empower your team to provide 5-star hospitality when hospitality should be in any business, and how to be in constant problem solving mode, in constant collaboration, caring, and continuous improvement. That's how you get to be a business that inspires 5-star reviews every day, all day long. And when you do have a negative review, you don't see it as a problem or something to hide. You see it as an opportunity for creativity and innovation. And you can't come up with all the best ideas all by yourself.
Yeah.
Your team will, if you work together with your team, they will learn how important it is to you to be creative and innovative, to be on a road to continuous improvement every day. They will learn that that is the culture of the business they're in, that you want them to constantly be thinking, what can we be doing better? And they learn how to solve problems. So if you sit back on your desk and you think you deal with the problem all by yourself, you're not teaching anybody anything that's going to make tomorrow a better day.
Right. You know what I love about that? And we teach realtors here to kind of reverse engineer in terms of experience. The number one complaint in our industry, Adele, come from a real estate standpoint, is my realtor doesn't communicate with me enough. I had to wait for them. I had to reach out to them to get information about what was going on. And the way I teach agents, Adele, is set up a time right up front. Like, hey, every Monday, I call every one of my sellers with an update. Or every Tuesday, I call every one of my buyers while they're under contract, just update them what's going on. And even if you don't have an update, just like, hey, what is there something I can do for you? Is there anything that you need from me? And what you're doing right there is you're eliminating the number one complaint people normally have about a realtor. But it's just like what you're saying, you're creating the type of review you want, right? You want someone to say, hey, my realtor was responsive. They communicated with me throughout every step of the way. You're creating that. And you're eliminating the number one complaint that people normally have.
Yeah, I just moved into this, my new home here about 3 months ago. After when COVID hit Manhattan, I was, as I told you before, I was working as the vice president of sales, marketing, revenue for the Library Hotel Collection. But when COVID hit New York City, which was the first big problem here in the US, we were having, every single reservation canceled. Everything in New York was shutting down, restaurants, theaters, everybody. So there was no business. I could not sell a room in New York for any amount of money. And so I left. I really thought I was going to come back, but it turned out that it was a good time to make a switch to being able to share what I learned from hospitality here. But so I went to a beach house in Maine owned by a family member just to hide out from the COVID of Manhattan. And I started looking for where to live with my husband. And I wanted to be in the Carolinas because my parents had just moved to Matthews near Charlotte.
Yep.
And so we went on YouTube to find information about places that we might be interested in living. And there was our realtor, Ryan McHugh, and he was doing all these really helpful videos. helping me to determine, together with my husband, that we thought that the Charleston area was going to be really a great place for me to work and live. It's close enough to my parents, and we decided, because he had so many informational videos, which neighborhood of Charlotte might we want to live in. And then once we decided we're going to be in Somerville, which neighborhood within Somerville, and which community we actually wanted to live in. We just got so much information. He was always thinking, before he ever met us, and before he met his other customers, like, what are things that people are going to want to know that's going to make them feel really comfortable about moving here, about where they want to live, and making some choices even before we got there and could make our first appointment to start looking at the places. And then it was just a matter of, taking a look at some places to see it and picking it. But I knew that he was all about being helpful, because that was just pouring out of him from the videos. And it wasn't a hard sell in any way, shape, or form. He just seemed super, super helpful and thinking about us. And that's what we wanted. So it was, and he really lived up to that throughout the experience. As you said, always checking in, and always, if we were trying to decide between two different things, he'll say, well, in my experience, there are people who like this because of this, and people who like this because of that, or this can be trouble that you may not expect, but it might be worth it to you, so that we could make better decisions from his experience.
That's great. To me, he was, before you even met him, he was a resource for you before. And that's, was that like Google searches or YouTube you found Ryan's videos?
Yeah.
Outstanding. I don't know Ryan, but great job to Ryan in just being a resource. A lot of agents talk about it, but he obviously walked the walk, right? He was about it, and you had a great experience because of it. That's outstanding. That's, to me, that's reputation cultivation, right? Like, he cultivated.
100%.
You knew the experience you were going to get before you even chose to work with him.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, when we inquired about just calling some places directly, that had a realtor like on the property. I mean, I get it. Maybe they were so busy, but really never to call me back. Come
Well,
on.
it's funny you say that, Dale. I know when we spoke last time, and I've talked to Preston, who's normally on the show with me, a bunch of times about, honestly, coming out of a good real estate market, coming out of COVID into, what's a challenging economy right now, just to use those words. Customer service is at an all-time low just across the board. If you look at real estate, the industry I'm in, realtors are quote unquote busy. You have realtors that don't answer phones, don't return texts, things like that, because they're so busy. You go to restaurants that are understaffed, right? And people are understanding of it, but really, customer experience, customer service is at an all-time low because of, I think, because of all the upswing we had and all the, automatic stuff. You can go on a phone and, do a lot of things through an app where you don't even have an experience with a human being. I think I always look for the silver lining. That's just who I am personality wise. I think one of the good things out of having a challenging economy is you normally see that turn around. The companies, the realtors, the hotels, the Airbnb hosts that have the most success when there's a lot of choices and limited clients are the ones that give the best experience. So I think that's gonna be a great thing that comes out of what we're going through right now.
Without a doubt, the majority of people are willing to pay more money for the same product, but with a better experience.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. If it's faster, easier, more convenient, they want that, and they want to be treated with kindness and courtesy and respect. Technology is a wonderful thing when it's working correctly. So in the ideal circumstance, you should take away a lot of the things that are very quick and easy for your customers to do on an app or online. They want to find out the information about the place online instead of making them call and wait for somebody to tell them about it. For example, I was looking at a new, I was trying to see if maybe one day my parents would move to a senior community here a little closer to me. And I went to the website, and the information is so sketchy. I just don't feel comfortable.
Right.
I mean, and then I did go and meet with the people, and I had to ask them, can you send me specifics? Because it says like you have the meals, but it doesn't say, if it's included, or it doesn't give me a sample menu, or it doesn't, I mean, it says transportation, but I don't know what it costs. And then they said, oh, it's free to go to medical offices. Well, put that in writing to me. But they didn't put it in writing to me. They just sent me something that was all sketchy and not specific. And so unfortunately, a lot of times we make it so that people have to call for information, and you're trying to do the opposite. You're trying to make it easier, less burden on the employees by having all the information out there. But then you say, oh no, but I really want them to talk to my employee. My employees don't have the time for that. I mean, decide what your goal is before you use the technology. And this is a frustration. I was on an app for an airline that a local Charleston airline, trying to get the only direct flight to Orlando, and everybody that was online with me to that airline desk said that they could not check in online because it didn't work, and it didn't even have Charleston as an option of a point to fly from. I mean, nobody is test driving your technology to make sure it works in a way that is easy and convenient for your customers and gives them the answers they need as much as possible before they start needing help. So, and then when you are, let's say you have a chat box and you're giving an automated answer, don't let that automated answer sound like a robot. Think of your most beautiful sounding guest experience host or hostess who would answer that in the most complete way, where you're not just answering the question, but you're adding value as a human being, one human to another. And then give that answer to the automation so that the human behind that transaction from your company, that voice of the human is there all the time, even though it's an automation. And on the other side, sometimes we make our employees sound like robots. They sound a certain way, and like you may get, thank you for calling, and it's so robotic, it's so fast because they're just trying to get it out. It's not welcome, thank you for calling the whatever business you are. I'm here to help you. How can I serve you? How can I help you today? I mean, if it's genuine, people feel it.
Yes,
if you say the words in a robotic, overused, fast way, if they're not feeling it from the heart, it doesn't matter what the words are. The customers will get that was just something you memorized.
Yeah, I call that, we teach a lot of script and dialogue. We're a marketing company and a prospecting company, very heavy on both to help agents generate business. And we
Sure.
teach a lot of script and dialogue. And I always use the term the friends and family effect. You want to talk to people on the other side of the phone like you were talking to someone in your family or a friend. You don't want like this different voice, like your, the radio FM DJ or the telephone voice. Literally, you want to sound like your tonality should sound the same, and people will pick up on that and talk to you in return the same way.
100% right. 100% right. People really respond to that human touch, the human connection. They really like that. And I can't tell you how many times that I heard when I was a sales manager at a hotel saying, I called 10 different places, but nobody was as excited about talking to me about my wedding than you.
Yeah.
Like I feel one thing that we would say to our teams, we would have a pre-shift huddle, as many hotels would do. But in a pre-shift huddle, you gather around the employees and you may say what's going on today, and that's helpful. But what's really special about that moment is you have that opportunity with that morning huddle to give some excitement and energy to your team, to tell them, something great that happened yesterday, to ask the team if they're, what went wrong yesterday, what did we learn from it, how can we do better, and to go over one best practice, like a story about something inspiring that is going to help you make today a better day for connecting with your customers. So one of those things would be when we would say, you're here in New York City or Budapest or Canada or wherever it is every day, and you're around this every day. But to have whoever's coming in, they're excited to be here. They've dreamed of coming to New York their whole lives. They may have been saving up for this time. Remember when you went on vacation?
Mhm.
When you approached the front desk, or when you had your door opened by the bellman or the doorman, and they say, welcome to the hotel. Your vacation has just begun. We're so happy to have you here. That feeling of arrival is so special. And now we'll think back about you went on vacation, you were so excited about it, and the person said, checking in. Yeah. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
It's awful. So
Right.
remember how excited the people are about buying their new home. You know what? You may live in a palace, and you may be showing somebody like a really starter home. It could be just like connected or condo or whatever it is. And it's not what you're used to, but to them, it's their first slice of the American dream.
Right.
And that kitchen and that bedroom and that living room are they need to be fresh, and they need to be clean, and it needs to be friendly. It needs to feel safe. They have to feel that their kids are going to get a good education and nice friends around there. But the opulence of it, it's not necessary.
Right.
They want the same things as everybody else, and they're just as excited, maybe more so, maybe more deserving of having an excellent experience with you and with their home purchase than anybody who can afford a lot more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Everybody deserves 5-star treatment, no matter where they are. So it doesn't matter if it's a modest place or a modest hotel or a 5-diamond luxury hotel. Everybody deserves 5-star hospitality.
Talk to me a little bit about why you do what you do. So you teach and train around this 5-star review system. Obviously, you help coach and guide people in the hospitality industry, but also people who own investment properties and things like that, right? Talk to me a little bit about that.
And really, any business. I've spoken to doctors. I've spoken to soccer stadium managers, believe it or not. I've spoken to people, in Asia, in Europe, and of course here in the States. It's really any kind of business needs that hospitality. And the thing is that when you read about how to deal with reviews, and I use the word deal with, the people writing those articles, they've never done it.
Right.
They haven't done it. I had the #1 hotel in the world on TripAdvisor based on reviews. The #1 hotel in the Czech Republic, the #1 hotel in Hungary, the #1 hotel, 4 of the top hotels in the United States based on TripAdvisor reviews, and the #1 company-wide, above whatever super luxury famous name that you know of, that you say that's the top 5-star luxury. We had higher guest experience scores than they did, year after year, consistently. In New York, we had the #1, #2, #3, and #4 hotels. We had 4 hotels in New York in a row on TripAdvisor. In New York City, they were also on top of the country, not #1, #2, but in the top. And that was, and 10 years later, it's like #1, #2, #3, and #17. So it's consistent because we, the word consistent is a little bit tricky. A lot of people think it means you have to do it the same way all the time, but it's not really. It's not exactly the right way to think about it. We were constantly being flexible and constantly in a culture of caring, collaboration, and continuous improvement. So actually, we were not consistently staying the same. We were consistently growing, consistently changing, consistently listening to our customer and evolving with them, because if you pay attention to reviews and feedback from your customers and you ride that, you grab that feedback and you take it to where it can take you by evolving how you deal with things and growing every day, either individually. Sometimes you're an individual entrepreneur, or sometimes you're in a team with a lot of other people. And if you're constantly evolving, you will future-proof your business because you're always evolving with your customers, not clamped down to the ground. This is the way we did it yesterday. It's the way we did it the day before that, and the year before that, and since my grandparents. So we're not going to change anything. And that is, then other people are going to grow around you and you might be left behind, but you will never go wrong by listening to feedback from your customers.
I love that. I love because I'm a firm believer as well, Adele. I'm like-minded in the sense we're all constantly evolving. If you're not evolving, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah. I just feel that I learned so much in my 20 years of really focusing on how to evolve with reviews, how to ride that reputation cultivation train. And I mean, I never thought that we would have the highest in the world,
right?
But we just ended up there because everybody else was stuck on reputation management instead of reputation cultivation. And it's such a important thing today, because in a world where competition is tough for having great team members, you can keep your team happy and engaged and always learning and growing if you're constantly encouraging them, inspiring them, learning together, and recognizing when celebrating when you get a 5-star review, or celebrating when you reach a milestone as you watch your scores go up, and the visibility that your business will have
Yeah.
on Google. I mean, definitely on TripAdvisor, if you do have a bed and breakfast or a hotel, or maybe you own a vacation rental in a hotel. That's a common thing where you are,
Yes.
in Myrtle Beach. You your visibility for your business is going to be based on the reviews. And Expedia this month in August of 2022 is actually shifting their algorithm for the way the viewing is going to present to customers, because the businesses that are delivering, any business, restaurant or whatever business it is, any business is going to be delivering a higher level guest experience, and getting those 5-star reviews is going to get more visibility than anybody else. That's true
Makes
on
sense.
Google.
Yeah, they should.
True on booking.com. It's true pretty much anywhere, and it's already true on Expedia, but when they shift to the new algorithm, it's going to be much more favoring business that deliver 5-star service.
Let me ask you this, Adele, because I love picking your brain. This is my second time being on a Zoom with you, and I learned so much from that. It's almost like I'm in a coaching session here. A lot of our audience either owns investment properties, like you described, like a condo within a hotel, or they work with clients who do. What piece of advice? Let's say I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to buy my investment condo in a high-rise oceanfront hotel. What advice would you have for me going into that to make sure I'm delivering a 5-star experience to someone staying in my investment?
Well, first of all, I would look at the reviews on TripAdvisor for, let's say, if that business already is getting reviews and you're going to be a part of that group. What are they saying about it? To be honest with you, like if I was considering taking a job with a business, I'm going to look at their reviews, because their reviews tell me if they're getting a lot of complaints, I know that those employees cannot be happy dealing with those complaints every day,
Right.
and that nobody is solving those problems, rather than learning from those problems and evolving along the way. So I would definitely look at that, because it tells you a lot about what the management is going to be like. Number two is, if I decide that I'm going to go for it, I want to be making sure, as I mentioned before, that my place is described really well, that the pictures are showing the true reality of what you're going to get. If I want to be sure that I am really highlighting my assets, but I know that people won't think that they're going to get something different than what they do. There's one hotel brand, and honestly, it's not that I don't like their hotels, but they show you one corner of one room, and you're supposed to make a decision based on that. Obviously, the more pictures you show from every angle of, the living room area, the bedroom area, we want to see how big the bed is in proportion to other things, and what the amenities are from different angles, and maybe in the morning, in the evening, whatever, what the view is. We really want to understand exactly what we're going to get. That is going to be so important to making people happy. And, too much nickel and diming can be very exhausting also for a consumer. So just think about that as well. And make sure that there's a really good pre-arrival experience. So after the booking, but before the guest arrives, that planning the trip stage is where customers are really open to receiving any information that you can give them.
Sure.
And they're going to really appreciate it if you tell them everything they need to know about how to have a great experience where you are. So I would definitely think about that. But one thing I want to say is that if you find that you own a vacation rental in, let's say, a hotel that sells itself as a hotel, even though units may be kind of privately owned, hold the rest of the owners to high standards, because you're getting judged not just by the experience people are having at your property, but everybody's.
Right.
So hold everybody into account and try to put pressure on leveling up the entire guest experience, because you're getting thrown into the bag.
Makes sense.
With other businesses. So the more that you can be a leader among your co-owners, that can make a big difference. And I'll be happy to, if you want to help implement that, I'll be happy to speak to the group of owners together.
Well, Dale, talk about that. If somebody wants to pick your brain like I have, get a hold of you, talk to you more about your 5-star review system, what's the best way for them to find you, Adele?
Well, if you're on LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn. My email address is really easy, adele@adelegutman.com, or visit adelegutman.com. I have a website with a blog. I have a podcast called Get Great Guest Reviews. And so that's free. You can learn a lot just by listening in. But if it's the implementation.
Sure.
That's one thing, is the knowledge, and then the other thing is the implementation. So I love to help people actually guide them through the implementation progress, so that you can easily, because I've done this so many times with so many hotels, take you from wherever you are to wherever it is that you want to go. And remember, if you're getting 4.0 reviews, that's not love. But that's a lot of potential to hugely increase your financial outcomes if you lift it to 4.5 or 5.0. Xerox a long time ago did a study, and they had always before considered 4 and 5 out of 5 good. But they just looked back and saw that the people who gave them 5-star reviews were 6 times more likely to rebook than people who gave them 4-star reviews.
Right.
So remember, 4-star is a neutral on the NPS scale. And a 5-star, that's a promoter. You want everybody who leaves your business, whatever it is, loving it and wanting to come back, spend more money, stay longer, come more frequently, and bring all their friends.
Right.
And hopefully write a review to attract more travelers to you.
Well, Dale, this has been great. I think you're going to be a future guest on the show, because I just enjoyed talking to you. I've learned a lot in the two Zoom calls we spent together. I really appreciate you. To everybody who listened and plugged in, have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll talk to you soon.